This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There he is, fresh from the locker room after a dominating performance. A.B. Lichtenstein on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's where I follow him. You can do it too. And, of course, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, always covering the Miami Hurricanes, of course. But you're on the championship beat, dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, hey, the Hurricanes beat never stops. I mean, I had to cover before the game started tonight. They got another commitment, so that never stops. But, yeah, Panthers, definitely the most successful team in South Florida right now.
All right, the one thing we're real. What's Mikola? Did you see him in the locker room? Greer also looked like he was banged up a little bit. What can you tell us about some of the nicks and knacks that happened in the game?
I don't know about Greer. I didn't see him in the locker room, and I guess it's some people's mind, or people didn't notice it because they were furiously writing. So Paul Maurice didn't get asked about it, or about Greer, but he did get asked about Mikola, and he said he thinks Mikola will be okay. So very good news for the Panthers there.
Yeah,
he's been fantastic.
And let me tell you, Adam, one of the things that I started to show off, this all becomes also a blessing, because if you can finish them off on Monday, the beauty was Edmonton won last night, so now it's 1-1. And you hope to sit back and watch a 7-game series there, and maybe a couple of overtimes, and let them beat each other up. And if you can eliminate them on Monday, you give Mikola, you give Rhino, Greer if he's banged up, you give them time. And just the Rhino thing also looks like he dodged something serious, because they said day to day that they're not going to, if it's something serious, they're not going to set themselves up for criticism by putting day to day, right? So
I don't think they would say day to day if it was like, he broke his leg or something, and he's out. Although if he broke his leg, you never know with hockey players, he might play anyway. I think Eetu Luostarinen played 2 years ago in the finals with like a broken shin or something.
No, dude, Kachuk had
had the sternum. It was the sternum. I think he had like a fractured sternum, because the hockey players are nuts that way. But yeah, I mean, so he said this morning that Rhino is day to day. So we'll see if he plays in Game 4. Hopefully he's healthy. But you're right. I don't think he needs to. Mikola might be the same thing. And the funny thing is, you say, you hope they go 7. The Panthers can finish them off on Monday, get some rest, and that's conventional wisdom. You love time to rest, but I don't know if the Panthers really want that so much. They're rolling. They're playing every other day. They they come off blowing out Toronto in Game 7, and they just go fly into Raleigh and no breaks basically, and they've been beating the brakes off Carolina. So I don't think. I mean, yeah, if you want to rest guys to to make sure they're healthy, but like, I don't know if they're dying to, wait 8 or 9 days to play in the Stanley Cup final, assuming they do make it, up 3-0. So I think it's a safe assumption. But, assuming they do, I don't think they're dying to wait a week and a half to play.
I'm only saying it for the guys that are banged up, so they can get a couple extra days to rest. But I know what you're saying, because between Tampa and Toronto, they had those days, and then they came off and they went down 2-0. And it was like, oh, wow, hold on a second. They didn't come in too sharp. You know what I'm saying? And then against Carolina, they came in right away one day after, and Carolina was off for 5 days. So I kind of understand what you're saying, that, yeah, maybe it's better to have, stay sharp. But since you've got a couple of guys banged up and Rhino is so good, the beauty is this team is so damn deep, Adam. Holy shit, dude.
It's crazy.
Come on, bro. Boquist. Come on, bro. I mean,
we were joking. Some of the other writers were joking in the press box that Boquist is like plus 425 to score tonight before the game. And then, naturally he comes in and scores. Who needs Sam Reinhart anyway? That's a joke. Obviously, Sam Reinhart's incredibly good. But yeah, Boquist like comes in, steps up. Like, it's been the story of the whole playoffs. Like, I mean, they're so deep. I think they've had 18 players score. So basically, you don't include the 2 goalies, like 18 out of 22-ish. Don't ask me to do math, but nearly all the Panthers have scored. Nearly all the skaters have scored. In fact, Evan Rodriguez even got asked about it by Jordan McPherson from the Herald. Basically, like, are you getting any chirps from the other guys? Because Evan Rodriguez is one of the few players who hasn't scored yet. And he goes, no, I'm just saving him. So maybe he'll score, 5 goals in the Stanley Cup final or something.
Nate Schmidt will come up with some stuff. Mikola today with 2 goals. I mean, that's the other thing. You're skilled. You have guys that can score the puck, and then you also have defensemen that are also a threat on this team. There's not a weakness, bro.
No, I'll tell you, I've been telling people this really since Game 5 against Toronto. The team, crossing sports here, but the team they remind me of are the early 2010s Nick Saban Alabama teams, where it's like, we're going to do what we do. You can't stop it. It doesn't matter. You just can't stop us. Like when they're on, and they're not perfect. They lost those 2 games to Toronto. Like they gave up, I think, 5 or 6 goals in a game to Tampa. Like they're not perfect. It's hockey. You're going to lose games. You're not going to go undefeated in the playoffs and march your way through. But like when they're on, they're just a buzzsaw. It's fun to watch because they destroy teams. Like on the ice, they destroy teams in the team's heads. It's crazy.
And I think as the playoffs have gone on, they've gotten sharper and sharper because, like, what was it, Tampa? Was it like the 3rd game that after they took a 2-0 lead, the 3rd game they were like flat in that game, right? Or something like that?
The first game at home.
And then they had the days off, and then they came out and they were flat like against Toronto, and then now this one they kind of came out right from the get-go, and they've gotten better and better as the playoffs have gone on, and they have been able to impose their will even more. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, what is it like? It's 16 goals, right, in these 3 games?
16-4. And I think I'm trying to remember the exact order of goals, but I know the second Carolina goal in Game 1 was in garbage time. The game was over. The last one for Carolina tonight was in garbage time. The game was already over. So it's like 2 actual like meaningful goals for the Hurricanes. It's insane. And like the Hurricanes are good. Like they don't look it against the Panthers, but this is a team that, heck, they dismantled Washington and New Jersey. And Washington, if I remember right off the top of my head, like they were the points leader, I think, in the Eastern Conference. Like Carolina's good, and they're just beating the hell out of them. It's insane. It's crazy. It's really crazy to watch because I think one of the first things I noticed in Game 1 of the series in Raleigh was like there were some big hits, and Carolina was feisty, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a series. Like this is going to be like I can't think of the word. Like this is going to be a good series, and then it hasn't been. The Panthers just taken over.
Well, here's the other thing, Adam. Bob,
incredible.
Right, and you really haven't run into a team because there isn't one. I was talking about this before you came on. There's not a team left that's as physical as the Panthers, as skilled as the Panthers, and then your goaltender is playing out of his freaking mind. You can have some of these teams that are good, and their goaltender's like a good guy. He's pretty good, but he's not like at Bob's level right now where Bob is playing right now. He's not lights out, and that's because there's breakaways now, and when those breakaways are happening, he is stoning most of them pretty much, and that is huge. When those
he's playing great.
Because the Panthers are capitalizing against other teams in those moments because their goalies are not performing at that level the way Bob is right now, too.
Well, and again, this is just crazy. Like Frederik Andersen coming into this series was the best goalie in the playoffs so far. Through the first 2 rounds, he was playing out of his mind. Had like a 132 goals against average, like which is by far the best of the goalies remaining. And they put 10 past him in 2 games, and they pull I don't know if they pulled him before he like the last. I don't know exactly, but they put up 8, 9, 10 goals against him in 2 games to the point where they pull him. And clearly, he's like Frederik Andersen was not the problem. Because the guy whose name I can't pronounce, like Peter something or other, I can't pronounce his last name. Who they started tonight, like he gives up 6. He's not the problem. It's the defense. It's
Kucherov.
It beats me. I can't pronounce it. I spelled it right, I think, but I don't know if I can pronounce it. But I'm not even going to try. But like clearly, the goalie's not the issue because you sub out the goalie and he still gives up 6 goals. He did make some good saves early. Like the Panthers had a lot of chances early that he made good saves on, and then again the Panthers were just relentless, and Next thing you know, it's 2-1, it's 3-1. They scored 5 goals in 9 minutes. It is nuts. They were scoring goals so fast that the PA couldn't even finish announcing the last goal before they scored again.
Are they off tomorrow, or is it just treatment? They won't even practice tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they'll practice. I think they're just gonna get like treatment and stuff like that, and recovery and everything. And but yeah, I don't think they're actually gonna like practice tomorrow.
Anything else we miss, Adam, injury wise? Anything that you saw there you can update us on?
I mean, injury wise, like we talked about Mikkola, hopefully, looks like he'll be okay. Reinhardt, we'll see. AJ Greer, TBD. He like I said, he didn't come up in the post game. And then as far as like standouts, I mean, Barkov scored twice in like 3 minutes. And it's like the 8th most important thing that happened. Like he had a great game. It just like this team is a wagon. They are playing at another level. It's really fun to watch.
100%. He's definitely not 100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, he had some really. He didn't score. He didn't come on the score sheet tonight, but he had some really good moments. He had one.
Oh yeah.
He had some really good. He had one like some insane stick handling. That just that the Carolina goalie stopped.
Dude, I love the goal he scored in game 2. If you go look at it, the whole play started with him in a defensive play just outside the zone where he intercepts it and gets it back into play for his own team, and he's the one that ends up scoring. It's like 7-8 passes before the score, but he does get like a hockey assist. I know it's 7 passes later. Dude, if it's not for his defensive play, he doesn't score.
He did that with the Forsling goal too. He's the one who broke up a pass and got it to Forsling, who scored. So like, and that came up after in the post game in game 2. Like I think both Barkov and Paul Maurice got asked like, oh, it's been 10 games since Chucky scored last, and they're like, really? That's been that long? Because like he even when he's not 100%, he's not scoring 8 goals in a series or something, or like single-handedly destroying a team like he did to Carolina in 2023. He's still doing a lot of things that contribute to winning. So even if he's not even in 80%, Matthew Tkachuk is still an excellent player. He's
finding a way to contribute one way or another in being a cog in the entire machine. Yeah,
and getting under people's skin and getting a 10-minute misconduct.
Everybody is willing to sacrifice their part on this team. It doesn't matter what it is to block a puck, a shot, to assist, to hit somebody, whatever it takes. And that's the beauty also. They're all willing to sacrifice for each other and do whatever it takes to get the W. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, I tell everyone I know, I'm like, jump on this bandwagon because it's a lot of fun. They're an incredibly likable team if you're rooting for them. If you're not rooting for them, they're an incredibly hateable team. But I'm like, this is a fun team. Like the personalities are great. Like there's a video going around from like the second intermission of like I think Marchand eating like Dairy Queen or something in the locker room. Like they're just a fun team. Like they're fun personalities. They play an enjoyable style of hockey, and they're just good. Like they're probably the best team in the NHL. They were last year. They probably are again. We'll see what happens and as the playoffs end. But like they're just teams like this don't come around very often. No. I mean, especially in South Florida. And people should enjoy it while it lasts because it won't be forever. These players, these are all these players who are the best players at their positions in the league, and they're in their prime. Tkachuk, I think, is 27. Barkov's like 29, maybe. I don't know off the top of my head. But a lot of these guys, they're young guys. They're late 20s. They're all in their prime. They're all contributing. It's incredibly fun.
Yeah, and I think Dallas is the toughest matchup for them. Actually.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, Edmonton took them to 7 last year, but
it'll be tough to play Edmonton because you already beat them. So that whole thing, you'll have to go, beating them twice would be a challenge. But the Stars, I think they're the closest to being as physical and as skilled as the Panthers.
And I think the whole Panthers press corps is rooting for Dallas because it's much easier to get to Dallas than it is to get to Edmonton.
Much better town, bro. Come on, much better town. So
I've never been to either, so I can't compare.
Yeah. Well, no, I've been to Dallas plenty of times. Yeah, I hope you end up in Dallas, bro. That'll be a lot of fun.
We'll see what happens.
On Twitter, by the way, and follow all of his Panther coverage because he's traveling. He's covering everything, practices, games, everything for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. AB Lichtenstein. And as always, Adam, thank you, my brother. Thank you for taking the time. And
of course. Thanks for having me. And thanks for nailing the pronunciation, too. You killed it.
Thank you. Oh, Alzugaray, I try to help other people because I know mine's going to get butchered, too. All right, brother. You be good out there.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You got it. Have a good one.
This is the